interest. The reporters may have different interests. So some may have interest in or specialization, or some may have interest or a niche in a particular area. So based on that, it is accordingly, excuse, accordingly we have different reporters for different uh, types of news, right? But uh, again, when we're talking about even though there are different categories for news, even though there are different categories of news, we see that um, there are also different media for news. For example, the demands for print is so very different from the demands for television or electronic media um, or um, or OTT platforms or YouTube or social media. So it varies from platform to platform. Okay, so based on those requirements, so now coming to reporting, when we look into the news, the way the reporting is done, it has to be objective, it has to be non-partisan and balanced. To be non-partisan, it has to be accurate with relevant data and facts. Then it has to be substantial. Like you can't just give randomly. Then informative. It has to be educative. It has to be focused, like issue based, to the point, crisp and not too long. Because we're talking about reporting, not article writing or feature writing. And the most important aspect of the entire thing is they have to be, when the reporting is done, it has to be done keeping to objectivity is something that is or it depends upon the newspaper organization. So there is actually no law, but the sensitivities have to be developed. So, objectivity by general understanding is being true, not being biased, without interpretations, cannot deny some kind of element of influence, but trying to cut it off as much as possible, and speculations. Mm, so it has to be done reporting without external interferences. Now, so today the magnitude and economics of mass media has increased so much. So everything is based on the marketing objectives. So, uh, but media has a responsibility towards being able to present some news that is unbiased. So, in India, the growth of investigative journalism after the internal emergency led to a new phenomenon. So, we have many news scams that were brought about by many newspapers, television, taking out like trying to at least present some kind of justice to the victims through their investigative approach. There have been many cases. The Manu Sharma case has been a classic example. So this has done a lot of good to the public. Many scams like the Harshad Mehta scam, be it the Harshad Mehta scam or the recent Adani about their offshores companies. So these are all part of the investigative journalism. Now, coming to the live reporting spot news, this happens mostly when the reporter is physically present there. It happens now when there is something like an earthquake or a sports event that's happening, or a parliament is in session, um, or or some kind of an accident has happened, or there is flooding or rainfall. So at all these events, right, you have some kind of an update that is coming, which is continuously done. That's mostly called as live reporting or spot news. It's done obviously mostly on live medium like with 24/7, like television, radio sets, or social media platforms like Facebook, Insta, and and you have lots of websites, all these many websites that constantly keep updated with the news. So such kind of, it's not so easy with print until unless it has a website of its own. So when one is on the scene of events, one need to ensure that one sees things personally and report. Okay, presenting vivid situational details, clear details, can give credibility to the story. Uh, According to Alfred Lawrence, most of the sport news stories are event based. That talks about significant, interesting developments. Witnesses and expert sources are cited. The information is written against a deadline. So, something like the Mumbai terror attacks, um, or whatever. We have so many examples as I've just talked. So there has been a live coverage. So sometimes even the live coverage was is not. It may not be in fact helped the situation better, uh, and cause more damage. So many of the news channels were brought to task, and set of new guidelines have been framed based on that. The spot news stories are mostly event based, so therefore, it is against strict deadlines. So you have to be there, irrespective of what the time is and how much hours it needs to be covered. So the angle of the story is very important. Depth reporting is a part of investigative of reporting. Like when there is investigation that is done, an in-depth understanding of the issue is important. Um, all these stories have to have an in-depth, without, because these are investigative reports and have a high impact value, not that other news, but these are very important stories, something on a scam, or a military operation, or a terrorist attack. So these have a that an understanding uh, is uh, is is given without an understanding of the issue. It is not appropriate on the part of the reporter to present a news and without giving it a human angle or that can connect the story to the readers. In-depth reporting generally refers to taking a closer look at news event or person or issue. It's just not. Um, it is much more than that. It gives a detailed account. Now, coming to investigative reporting. Now, let us just pause for a second and then look into how it works. Depth reporting, in depth reporting. Now, coming to investigate reporting. So, investigative journalism is finding, reporting, and presenting news which other people try to hide. It is very similar to standard news reporting, except that the people at the center of the story will not help you and may even try to stop from doing the job because it may damage a company's reputation or and affects its share value. So, for all this, or a government may fall because of that. So, there are various uh, uh, reasons how investigative reportings uh, uh, can be can be uh, like has to be scam. Many the fact that journalists are killed only because there have been number of cases where the nexus between the mafia, the police, politicians, and Bollywood have been have been investigated, and many reporters last they lost their lives where because of the investigative reporting, it's just not uh, uh, reporting in a minor way. It is a big, huge task. So there have been cases where during the COVID time, right, there have been number of cases where reporters felt that in terms of giving vaccine in the first wave, how there have been discrepancies. Not all were are uh, were given enough vaccines, and numbers have been hidden as to how many died. So there have been various um, various ways through which uh, uh, the the facts have been hidden, and journalists try to open them up. So there have been obviously there has been investigative journalism. How Facebook helped the BJP in the 29 general election. So the Facebook faces criticism for its business interests, for its marketing goals, helped the party in the power to see to it that the hate speech flourished on its platform. So we had two journalists from the Reporters Collective, Kumar Sambhav and Nayanthara Ranganathan, who wrote a series of stories alleging how, with the uh, statistical data as to how there have been uh, reports that like all the stories that were put on the Facebook during that period of time, either criticizing the opposition parties or Facebook and Instagram were put from various sources which have party funding, connected to a particular party. So such kind uh, of news is it did see light, though unfortunately, by the time the entire process came into the picture, it was too late. Um, so these were given on the page of the on the wall of the Facebook. Such kind of information, such kind of unbalanced information on social media platform that are done basically to promote its own interests uh, has been possible only through an in-depth understanding and as part of the investigative reporting. So it's the same is the case with the Truecaller. Truecaller is an app that allows you to search spam calls. It is mainly uh, used to provide call blocking, caller ID services to detect and prevent spam calls. It's headquartered in Sweden, but India accounts for more than a third of the 5.7 billion unique phone identities in its database. So whoever have looked into, because anything that is free will have a cost, will have a charge. So an investigation that is carried out by the Caravan, Rachna Khaira, found that the, uh, the people who have downloaded Truecaller app, all their database has been shared with a third party, and though they say that the data is protected because of the country's inadequate privacy laws, they end up providing their contact to a third party. So it's as simple as that. So same was case with the Pegasus buyer, where Pegasus enabled the phone calls, tracking of phone calls, or sharing of phone call details through that spyware, where many politicians' numbers have been hacked, and their conversations, discussions have been given to the party in power. So, such kind of uh, such kind of information sharing is possible um, through through the investigating journalism. Such kind of things that are otherwise very simple on face may actually cause a huge shift in the way the governance works. So this is not something as a new trend. It is not like it has in fact worsened with the new technologies, because new technologies enable hacking of many uh, 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 technological instruments like mobile phones, or even their passcodes. So even on the systems, so it is not difficult. Of late, we see the government websites are also hacked. So it is not a new thing, but earlier it was very tough because they have to have strong concrete sources. Like the Hindus, Bofors expose, where the deals have been done, Tehelka defense deal, and so the cement scam, how cement has been stored and were given shortage, and it was sold in the black. So then again, we coming to the Neera Radia tapes, where politicians were involved, and corporate houses, industrialists, politicians, Neera Radia, PR or personal. How uh, uh, lot of manipulation happens in the decision making levels, where 2G spectrum, when auction was happening. So such kind of things. At the local level, there is something like CG Netswara, Chhattisgarh Netswara, that also has done a lot in terms of providing stories to the investigative journalism. Investigative reporting has three elements. It has to be the own work of the reporter. Under no circumstances, it should be of others, because involving too many sources can cause leaking of the information. So it has to be done with as a single person to start with, and with maximum secrecy as possible. Then the subject of the reporting should be such that it's of importance for others to know, and there must be not be any attempt made to hide the truth from the readers. So the sources, including the sources, so maybe initially the sources' privacy has to be safeguarded, but finally, when it is needed, so it has to be an understanding with the sources that if there is a need, finally the sources will be made open to the public. So investigative stories need painstaking gathering of facts over weeks or months, and finally its publication may lead to litigation. There are results of well planned efforts to uncover something wrong in the system. It is done mostly with an intention to do some, taking up the huge role, responsibility of being a reporter, with a social responsibility, that which is the basic guideline of journalistic reporting. Uh, it is done with a lot of responsibility. So it has to be, the details have to be given, but there is always a risk for the reporter's life in this process. Investigative reporter is basically an investigator who works for the people and find out what is wrong in the system. Efforts in this direction has to be supported by the newspaper. If the newspaper, in spite of all this, makes a compromise with the party, It could be the government, it could be the industrialists, or it could be the corporates. Then it is the reporter who has done that work who is at a loss. And many a times it has been found that uh, the newspaper organization has backed out on the trust of the uh, newspaper reporter. So it is essential that um, uh, the organization. If the person is a freelancer, that's a different process. But if a reporter is working for a newspaper organization, the organization responsibility is to see that whatever the reporter has published has to be shared with the public. The actors in the system do not go by the book, but deviate it from affecting the whole system. Okay, investigative reporting is a major exercise. It involves a lot of funds because to approach to sources, money has to be spent, and to make the sources speak, money has to be given to them many a times. So many a times the editor, along with the reporter, may discuss the pros and cons going ahead with such kind of reporting. But once decided, I think it is the responsibility of just not the editor, but also the organization to um, to see to it that uh, the the report is properly submitted. To bridge the gaps in the information, many a times interviews have to be planned. It may and the interviews may be spread across based on the connectivity of the issue, or based on the intensity of the spread of the scam. For example, if it is a if a, it's an entity like Adani Group, they are spread across well over different countries of the world. So shell companies across world. So it is important that people have to visit these countries to confirm, because without having a proper, authentic information, it cannot be published. So evidences have to be justified. Otherwise, there is a possibility for a legal action, and a defamation may also be filed. And in fact, the company may have to, the newspaper organization may have to pay the company. So it is essential, therefore, when gathering facts, the evidence has to be properly connected. And therefore, so to collect proper evidence, which may be spread across various countries, they need to have a clear picture. So, and for this, the reporters need substantial funding, and without funding, it is not possible to do investigative reporting. Mm, so, if the job is complete, the story should, once the job is done, story should be assessed once again, and in such an assessment, legal advisors of the newspapers should be involved. If the evidence is enough, and even the copyright issues have to be looked into, and owner is prepared to take the risks, the story should be published. Most often, such stories are published on the front page, so to attract the attention of the reader. So the entire purpose is to share the information with the readers. So once the information is published, it gets into it has to be given, and generally by default it is shared in the front page of the newspapers. So there might be, it is generally not, it doesn't end with a one day coverage. It may continuously happen, or the reporting will be covered over a period of time, maybe over a period of 3 days or 4 days to the max, because they soon lose the interest if something other important thing happens at that point of time. uh, uh, so when the reporting is done, right, the credits should include, and even the editors, the headlines should be given in a way that the story gets the justice. Um, Many major sources of such possibilities are analysis of government reports, newspaper reports, annual reports of various organizations, and so it is, yes, Karishma,
Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
good morning. Mm.
Yeah,
So,
last unit in the sense block, last block, ma'am.
sixth unit.
Okay, sixth unit. Ma'am,
Mm.
actually, there are many chapters, right, ma'am? So I just went through the textbook, ma'am, actually, and I'm a little confused in the last two units, ma'am. Unit 11 and 12 regarding the printing and all that. So rest of the things are easy, ma'am, to understand. So can you please explain those two units because time is also less, and this is a last class.
Which, which paper are you talking?
Same too, ma'am. The thing
Okay.
you're going through unit six right now.
Yeah, yeah.
So these are these unit six, seven, eight, nine, and all these are very easy, ma'am. Like if you read, you can understand. Unit
Okay.
11 and 12 or something that we are getting confused, ma'am. Like I'm not understanding what is it about. So please
You're
go
getting
through block
confused.
block 5, ma'am, once. Unit 11 and 12.
Okay, I can do that. So
Oh,
then, yeah, I think whatever I can do in uh, half an hour time, I can do.
yeah, ma'am, that's a request. Because I read it, but I'm not understanding anything about that.
Okay.
The printing process and all, we have questions also in examination regarding that. So if you don't understand, no, I can't write also. That's why.
So if you have anything specific, you can ask me. I can explain that, right? Makes it easier. So you have anything specific in your mind?
Yeah. Just a minute, ma'am. I have written somewhere the points I didn't understand.
Anything specific? Say symbols are there.
Yeah,
So
ma'am. Symbol thing. Yeah,
symbols
that's
are
one thing.
something like if you are aware of whatever shorthand methods, right? So you can't when a reporter copy is given, right? A reporter's copy is given to the editor. So the editor, before sending it, reporter's copy is written in a very hurried manner. So when it is given to the editor will correct it, and he can't keep writing everything. So if it is a capital letter, there is a particular symbol, and if a word has to be changed from front to back, a particular symbol will be there. So each thing, you have to drop down a case, then there is a particular symbol, and if you have to cut out something, there is a symbol. So everything. So sometimes it has to be used as italics or bold or subscript. Whatever it is, if it has to be given flush right, flush left. So all this, like when you talk about columns, right? We also know there are different ways of putting a column. So, actually, all these things have been discussed as part of the earlier units. So the first few units, had you listened to them while explaining to the columns, we tend to talk about all these things as well. Okay.
Yeah, actually, from exam point of view, like how, I have gone through one paper, ma'am, previous paper. In that, they asked that list any four symbols, like explain them. So how
Yeah.
we write that, ma'am? Like, is it okay? Just write symbol and how it is used
And
and
give an
all.
example. Give an example. You take a lion, one, write a line, and write a line and how that symbol can be used, and how, for example, you are using something like adjectives. Um, uh, Hyderabad has been flooded with rainwater, could be one sentence. So, so you can change it. If delete a word instead of saying has been, it continues to be flooded, something like that. So give an
Yeah.
example and try to improvise how you can. Without how do you show a particular text, right? It is not easy.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
you need to give examples for whatever you write. See, uh, any case, whatever, even if you're talking about that's the reason why I was going with investigative reporting examples, right? When there is an example that is done, you have I think the examples that are discussed, definitely, because we can discuss only few examples in the text.
Yeah.
Otherwise it runs into 1,000 pages. So examples are something that you people have to dig into.
Hmm.
So
Yes, ma'am.
what
If
else?
yeah,
What
that's the thing. But concept should be clear, na, ma'am. Like we can give then own examples
concept has
also.
to be clear? For that you have to attend the class, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now just next, what else?
Ma'am, one more thing that somewhere in this previous units, ma'am, the feature story that we write, they have in just I'll check, ma'am, once in page number 114, ma'am.
Okay.
If they are saying that the feature story that it follows the inverted pyramid style.
Huh.
And they are saying that normally in the inverted pyramid style, we follow that most important information should be in the first and the least
Correct.
important should be in the bottom, right? So, but
Correct.
here they are saying that in the feature, uh, once a second, feature writers often consider the conclusion the second or third most important part of the story behind the lead. This is in the first paragraph, ma'am, in the writing features, the last to fourth line.
Yeah. I know that.
I'm just getting confused, ma'am. Like when we say that features generally follow inverted pyramid style, then the least important should go to the bottom. But here the
See,
sentence is
one second,
contradictory.
1 second, 1 second, Karishma. The thing is, there are something like by default, that is inverted pyramid is mostly done for news reporting. Mostly, if you give a news report, take a
Hmm.
newspaper, news reports, 5 Ws and 1H. That's what inverted pyramid style is all about, where the lead has to give the entire information, then the body and the conclusion. That goes. Feature story definitely goes for inverted pyramid. But what happens is, apart from the lead, because it is a big article, it is a feature
Yeah,
is not something that is restricted to some 200 words or 300 words. It is
yes,
beyond
ma'am.
that. So there
Yeah.
has to be some element of curiosity to be sustained even in the body text so that it can be continued. So for
Yes.
that purpose, some elements are still included even in the second, third paragraphs and also the conclusion. Second body text can be two, three, four paragraphs also in the features.
Yeah.
Unlike in the news report, where the report can be just body text could be one paragraph or two paragraphs max. And then comes the conclusion, could be a one liner or a two liners.
Yes.
So, features, unlike that, features, articles, and all these extensive write ups, they need a, a better presentation. So, definitely, some element is introduced in the lead, but an explanation of that is carried in the body text, right?
Yes, yes.
So, that's it.
So this is not like it is not confirmed that all the features follow inverted pyramid style, right?
Not necessarily. It is, see,
It is a
nothing, there
chance.
is no strong rule. Even for the news reports, it has to be an inverted pyramid style. we have, if you look into the way the news writing is done, there are there are various types based on the way the story is. Some are flush left, some are flush right, some are
Yes.
aligned in a column, so some are inverted pyramid. Okay, some have whatever, the kickers can be reverse kickers are there. So there are
Yeah, ma'am.
different
That is
ways
also
that
a confusion, ma'am. Like kicker headline and state head, reverse plate headline and reverse kicker. All these
hmm,
terms are little like. Can you give example for each? I understood the kicker headline, like it is present about the headline in smaller font, right? Kicker
yes.
headline. And the
So
state
what is
head, I didn't
reverse?
understand. Sorry, ma'am.
What is reverse then?
Yeah, that's what I'm getting confused, ma'am. What is, because all are like they are similar, but I don't know what is the difference exactly.
See, kicker, as you said, is right. It is, it's a point less than the headline. On the
Yeah,
top, above the headline, you have a small, catchy phrases. Okay, it's
yeah,
a short line. It's not more than 3 words or 4 words max, because headline itself is not more than 5 words, right?
yes, yes,
So it is more like a catch line of the headline. Like, to attract the headline, this is the kicker, uh, uh, is the pull line of the headline. So reverse kicker is something, when here in kicker, what is it? It is like a small headline and then a bigger
yeah,
headline that is happening, like how in ads, right? That's
yes, yes,
mostly ads are given such kind of a thing. Small headline and then big headline is there. The
yeah.
tagline and the headline. Reverse is wherein the tagline is big, the slogan is big, and the headline is given in a small font.
Okay, okay. So the
So it
reverse
is,
that is also called as hammer or barker, right?
yes, yes.
Okay. And what is a reverse plate headline, ma'am?
Reverse plate headline is something that, uh,
Yeah,
like
it's given something like
general
white on a
standard,
black
no.
background.
Yes. So general format is white background, black font,
And
black
black.
letters. So
Okay.
reverse plate, no, so that's reverse is happening. Where on a black, so on a dark day, on an emergency, like something there was an emergency, or there was a huge earthquake or a fire accident. So it's a black day, a doom day kind. So black, on that you have white letters.
And what about a state head, ma'am? So here they gave the line they gave is
Yeah,
a
it's a
state head is a
continuous.
standing headline such as
Yeah.
today in history.
Ah.
What does that mean?
So uh, it is something like, how do you represent is, it's like issue, like some issue is there but connected to something in past, or which make two relevances. There are two connects between two different words. There is a sense, but there is a connect with that, and such kind of a jumbling of words where you use words that could be somewhere interconnected is what is a state headline.
Okay. The next topic
Have you
unit
understood?
count, ma'am. Yeah, ma'am,
Yeah,
I got it. The
yeah.
next topic is unit count, ma'am. I didn't understand this at all. I tried to
Which
read
unit?
the same thing, ma'am, below that 11.7. Unit count.
Unit count. So count
Yeah.
is something that alphabets, like you have that for writing.
Headlines.
Yeah, for
So the letter, each letter is called as unit count, right?
exactly. Some, if it is a bold, right, it is two. If it is um, italic, half. So that is what is unit count.
Yeah, ma'am. The last paragraph I didn't understand, ma'am. They are telling something as uh, small m and small w are counted as half units. I, L, F, and T are counted as half units. And all that
Yeah.
I am, it's a little confusing, ma'am. That part is. I mean, like, is
Okay.
it important for us, like, compulsorily?
See, when you write a headline, right? The purpose. Uh, what is the name of that unit? Unit 11. What is the title?
Unit 11. This is principles of editing, ma'am.
Principles of editing, right? Uh, okay. When you're talking about principles of editing, okay, I don't know. Which page is it?
Page 140, ma'am.
Page 140. Okay. Yes. Now coming to, yeah, every alphabet will have, but see, there is there are, see, writing a headline is something that is not done randomly. It is done after a lot of research, right?
Yes.
Um, Only when there is an understanding that everything has to attract the attention of the readers. So if a particular format is written in a particular way, only then it will attract the readers, and including the kind of fonts that have to be used, the colors that have to use, everything is a science by itself. It is not as though it is done randomly by some person sitting before the system doing just some random work with the words, alphabets. No, there are theories even for writing a what is the max count that has to be done, and how much has to be max width line that has to be used. So every alphabet covers certain space. So M will have half, L will have half. So certain things have, each alphabet will have. Capital M will have certain value, and capital I will have certain value, because based on the space it is occupying, accordingly they are given the 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 value to it. And max that would be given is 72-point headline. What we are to talk about is when there is a headline that is given for over 3 columns, because if you look into the front page, right, the front page news along with the insert picture and all that, it takes max 3 to 4 columns. So for that, so it could be uh, uh, a 72-point headline is what. And how do you get 72 points? That would be based on each alphabet. How do you count? How do you know that is 72 points? So M will have half and this. So that way, every alphabet, keeping into consideration, uh, so,
So the
so that
total should be 72 units, right?
not necessarily. If
Or
it is a
less.
small 2 columns, then
Okay.
it is based on 18 point. So you can't have a 18-point headline spread across the 3 columns or 4 columns.
Yeah.
So it depends
So
again. So there is a principle that is something for everything. There is something called a balance that we need to have for a headline. So it can't be like half a that, right? You can't have a headline that is totally doesn't fit the frame of the columns.
okay, ma'am.
So balance is what that is most required. When you write a headline, so that is what is important. So one column headline would be 3 or 4 lines. Again, based on how your length of the story is, or how many columns the story carries, based on that, you will have the headline, the headline points that could be decided.
Ma'am, this criteria will be different for each newspaper, right, ma'am?
100%. It is, see,
Yeah.
for tabloids it is different. For example, a paper like Mint, right? It's kind of it somewhere comes under a tabloid to semi newspaper. So when you're talking about something like a Mint, it is a different. Uh, it's not a complete broadsheet.
It's a different size, right? We have
Yeah.
three types: broadsheets, tabloids, and blinkers.
Yeah.
Something comes under blinkers, I think so.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, ma'am.
Correct.
Okay, next the last unit, ma'am. It's very confusing, ma'am, like the
It is
printing process.
Mint is more a Berliner format, is what we called. It's not a. It's more a Berliner format. This is the style that
Yeah,
it is in between the newspaper and the broadsheet newspaper and a tabloid. It's a Berliner format.
somewhere in the previous chapters we got that, ma'am, like Mint is India's
Financial
needy.
newspaper, successful newspaper. So it's something like that. Okay, now coming to
Ma'am, last unit, ma'am. In the printing process, we have
yes,
four different types: letterpress, offset. These are a little bit confusing, ma'am. All the process I went through in the textbook. Uh,
okay.
like the process involved is little like it is not getting into the head, ma'am. To me, I don't know.
See, now coming to the if you see photography, right? So this is more technical, right? You need to write down the points and make it into what is letterpress. Write down what are the points in it. Write in offset like planographic printing or whatever we generally call that as offset lithography, and then
In previous, in some previous years question papers, they asked right describe the process of flexography. So how can we write, ma'am? Like something it's so complex, ma'am. Like
see,
something.
see everything. The printing process has evolved over a period of hundreds of years, right?
Yes.
It's not something. Now the digital thing has come, the formatting is easy, anyone can format, and yeah, some with some creative sense, though it is not as simple as it may look, because there is a lot of science technical aspects that are involved. But it is much more easier now formatting a paper on the digital screen. Obviously, I think digital, you are aware,
Yes, ma'am.
right?
Yes.
So, but earlier, when the printing has just started, like if you know how a typewriting machine works, the
Yes, ma'am, I
typewriting,
have little idea about that.
so the alphabets are printed in, are there in reverse. If you look at the keys, if you type the keys, right?
Yeah. When it
So
is printed, we get the normal.
correct. So it is comes as the normal print. So that means if there is a cylinder which is filled with ink.
Okay.
So there is a photography, like the alphabets have to be engraved on that. So there
Hmm.
is a what should I, elevation. It is not on the plain surface. There is a bump. It is engraved on that rubber
Yeah.
thing, and then
Yeah. Yes. In the process, they have given that it is dipped in some acid, and so the remaining part will get eaten by the acid. The part and the letters which are there that will be elevated, and they will dip that
correct,
in the ink, and they will print it. So we'll
correct.
get.
Yeah, you got it. So there is a cylinder. So when that ink gets dipped into it, only the letter gets printed on the paper.
Yeah.
It's a very it is not a easy process to do. So over a period of time, different kinds of technologies have to make it convenient for smooth printing and mass printing to make it better. Okay, so next came the rotary press where individual sheets are fed and on the cylinders and they rotate. How you see, if you see in the movies, right, when the final print is given.
Yeah.
So, but to a very large extent, it is the letterpress printing that was there for a very long time.
Yes, ma'am. It is the oldest, I think. So.
Oldest. Then came the offset.
Ma'am,
Okay,
actually, I was worried like if this question, I mean, if they ask us to analyze the different types of printing process from old to the modern, so we have tried all these, right? Letterpress, offset, gravure, screen printing.
gravure. Yeah. See, you have just make, as I've said, try to put it in. in paragraph, in columns, right? What is
The
to start
differences,
with?
right?
Yeah,
The
what is,
characteristics.
just write the can, that is easier. It's all development over what was there in the first case. Okay,
Okay.
first comes the letterpress. Okay,
Letterpress, offset,
yeah,
then
then comes the, in the, it is the
grammar.
offset, that whatever that acid thing that you're talking
Yes,
about,
yes,
that
yes.
thing happened with the offset printing. So even that was there for a very long time.
Hmm.
Okay, so but offset has been used extensively. So the one reason, because proofing can be done even when the production process is happening.
Okay.
So that is one reason where offset has been extensively used.
Okay, ma'am. And next thing is this
And
platelet.
granular, more or less like letterpress plates.
Sorry,
Gravure
ma'am?
and letterpress are more or less similar.
Okay.
But here, unlike in the letterpress, the area that is to be printed, right, that is bit lowered and not raised. In the letterpress, it is elevated. It is
Yeah,
engraved on
yeah.
it. Yeah. So
Yes,
unlike
I
that, in
got
the
it.
gravure, it is lowered.
The lower part is dipped in the ink and it is get
And then
filled,
it
right?
gets as
And there
simple
is
as,
something called the doctor blade, so it is scratched with the doctor blade, right? So the
correct.
excessive ink will be erased, and whatever is in that pits, whatever is that ink is in the pits, that will be get printed, right?
Yeah, yeah, correct.
Okay.
So see,
I
now as
I
simple as
got,
that. See,
yeah, yeah.
it is not so thing is, you come to, see, the thing is, you come to a class, you understand what is being
No,
discussed,
ma'am.
right?
Actually, no, I have three subjects at the same time, ma'am. All the three subjects we have no optionals. 10:30, I
Oh,
have three subjects. So I have actually psychology as my main subject. It's a little
oh,
difficult for me, no. So I have to contact with ma'am and ask doubts. So it's
oh,
becoming a little difficult, ma'am, to manage three classes at the same time. Now I asked ma'am permission and I came to this class. So
okay.
that's
Hmm.
a little difficult for me to manage. Actually, I have listened to your classes on YouTube, ma'am. Like the BRO live classes will be there, no? In
Yeah,
that, I
yeah,
have listened to your class, some of your classes. So I thought
okay.
better I read all the units and ask you which I have doubts. It will be easier because
Correct,
this
correct.
is the
No,
last class.
yeah, now I think, have you understood the basic difference? See,
Yes, yes,
letterpress
ma'am.
and gravure are more or less same.
Yes, I
Okay,
actually, but things are overlapping, ma'am. Like everything is looking similar for me, though I understood it, I read it. That's
what
why
is
I,
overlapping in the printing?
yeah, ma'am. This last unit, ma'am. I'm
It
thinking the
will
big.
overlap. No, no, no. One second. It has to overlap because the process is same. There has been an advancement in way the process is. See, you have the
Yeah.
same style. The rotating cylinders have to be there. So you have some flatbed cylinders. There are some rotatory cylinders because the what we are trying to do is advancement over the existing technologies. So the basic concept will be there. No, it's not like we totally wipe off the existing technologies and then come with totally, unlike it is like a digital thing. But when it
Mm-hmm.
goes to printing, right, the printing process will be there. No,
Yes, ma'am. Yes. So the equipments and all that, there are little changes in that, right? The
there are
remaining process is same,
to some
but
extent, not
uh,
completely same. To some
yeah,
extent, because with modernization, earlier it was not current based. Now, with the
yeah,
modernization, with the development of electricity,
the
there
tools
are,
are different, right?
yeah, correct.
Yeah.
But of all the things, because the letterpress is the most uh, uh, very efficient way of doing things.
Hmm.
Okay, so that's why we say that it is the best. So, like if it is done, but it is a time consuming process. It is not like it is like mass production is not So very possible with letter, but to a great extent, for almost many years, letterpress has been used.
Yes, yes.
Then came offset. Offset also has been in use with the like you. What is the advantage with the offset is like it can you can go with the different variety of sizes. That is with the offset.
Okay.
So that
Right.
would be advantage of the offset. And the duplications are inexpensive. Whereas in the case of letterpress, because it is the process involved makes it expensive. So
Okay,
we are
okay.
trying to build in plates that are inexpensive so that we can produce as many copies as possible. That is that is the reason why you have um, uh, uh, technological developments, right? So
Yes.
there are different types of cylinders. First, you have a plate cylinder, then around which the printing plate is wrapped. Then there is a blanket cylinder where the images can be put, and there is an impression cylinder. So there are different types because through with these different types, all these are merged, and so when the so the water takes in few images, it rejects few non-image area, so something like that. So we tend to understand how it is better used through for excessive of, copies with less damage uh, to the machine.
Okay.
So that is the reason. So letterpress and gravure is more or less same, but here the print is less. It's lowered.
Yeah.
Area to be printed is lowered.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. I think
Yes,
so.
ma'am, I
We'll
got.
be soon. Uh, we'll be out because it's already 11:35.
Yeah.
So digital. So flexography. Flexography. What do you mean by flexography? Features. Um, so it
Actually,
is.
they gave that flexography is similar to this letterpress or relief printing, which we call.
Yeah.
It is used in packaging industry and all that they are
Yes.
given, but
Yes.
it is the process is little different here. Like we have
Yes.
some rolls and all that impression cylinder.
Yeah. See, don't get into all that. Just read the way how it is. And the picture is given only to make it easy for you. But if it is complicating, don't read.
Okay, ma'am.
So it is here what is happening here, a mirror image is put, reverse image, and then the correct image comes on the
Okay.
text, on the raised image. So it's something like how we have in the where there is a reverse alphabet. So it is mostly done the flexography for tissues, plastic. Yeah. So
Okay.
now the digital thing has come, it has become so easy now.
Yes, ma'am.
And DTP, desktop publishing. It is used randomly now. It is used so much. So it has revolutionized the process of printing. It is you can do the page layout is done on the DTPs, and there are different kinds of layouts. You can do a layout for the headlines, text. First, a layout is done, and then based on that, you can just copy paste the text or the images. What has to be to bring in the images, so you can just play around with the way the text can be put.
And there is this line something 8 columns of 11 or 11 and a half picas. What is picas, ma'am? Here
It is
in
also a
page.
standard of measurements. Pica is a standard of.
This no, ma'am. This is all a bit complicated, ma'am. This terminology and all. First time I'm hearing all these things.
Uh, See, you are reading 1 year syllabus. This is 1 year syllabus. No, what we teach in the university or a college over a period of a year, you are
Yeah, ma'am.
fast forward mode. You are doing it just like that.
Yes,
No,
yes.
you have to. It should give time to read through it, or at least 6 months ka syllabus. You are doing it in 6 days. How is it possible?
Yes, ma'am.
So you have to
Actually, we don't have any teacher's contact number and all that, ma'am. So everything is in from internet only, ma'am. If we don't understand anything, we just Google it. We see videos regarding that because this journalism thing is like common, ma'am. Many people speak about it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. See,
So I'm
as long
managing
as
like that.
other topics are concerned, it could be easier. Um, but something like technical like this,
Yeah,
um, you need to
yeah, ma'am.
uh,
We
you
need to
need to.
have some explanation, ma'am.
But I
Like
think you do have like
yeah.
class done at PG Center, I believe, no, at Secunderabad.
No, no, ma'am. Actually, I'm from Andhra Pradesh, not from Hyderabad.
Oh, then that is the problem. You are
Yes,
from which
we
place
do
in?
have the offline classes also, ma'am, here for journalism. And
I
in our
think they
study
are.
center, only two people have taken journalism as a subject. That is very.
I
I
think you.
actually don't.
It's
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
It is a mandate. Like it's mandatory that they should have classes. It's not like you can't have like
No, ma'am.
physical
Since
classes.
the students who have taken this subject are very less here,
So
so
that's why
I think
no
maybe the
classes.
reason.
Place of Andhra, you should.
Managing the online classes only, ma'am. But the thing is, three classes I have at the same time, so I'm
Okay.
very
Place of
don't
Andhra,
know
you
what
should.
to do. Since we have the recording sessions, no, ma'am, it's a little easy for me because I can go through afterwards also.
Yeah,
But I
exactly.
can't ask you doubts on the YouTube, right? That's actually
Mm,
in SEM one we had Sunil sir, ma'am, if you
oh,
know him.
I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. So sir used to give PPTs also. You are not doing PPTs also. That's why I've asked you in the first class, I mean last class also like PPTs if you are able to
It
provide.
is, it's as good as not, if you can't, and I give PPT in a format. I talk about Pika. What will you understand from PPT? PPTs are just for, okay, max 10 slides per class,
No,
per
no, not
unit.
no, ma'am, not for that reason. Like we can revise it, ma'am. Like now I have gone through the textbook, right? I have written all the things here and there. So when I open
PPTs
the
make
book,
you
no,
lazy.
no, I'm not like that. It will be
Yes, it is.
useful for no,
PPT,
for me it's not lazy because if in that case, no, I will not read the textbook also. I will be only dependent on your PPTs, but it's not like that. I read the textbook, I underline things, I write things. But for revision purpose, I want PPTs and all. No, it's not mandatory on you also. I just wanted if you could give me. I wanted to ask you that because
uh,
the other subject teachers are all providing PPTs, ma'am, for us. For revision purpose, it becomes easy for us. Like we
I,
don't have to go through all the textbook lines again.
yeah,
Main
yeah.
points and the terminologies we can go through and we can recall it in our minds that okay, this word means this and all like that. A little easy.
Uh, I'm, I'm not for PPTs, Karishma.
And I
Thing
mean,
is,
it's not, I know it's not mandatory on you, but I just wanted if you can give like that. So I last in the last class I asked you that.
yeah, yeah, I've seen the
And
message.
some teachers don't provide. I know that, ma'am. Some teachers don't provide that.
Thing is, if you come to the class, I know there is a problem with the subjects overlap, but if you
Yeah.
come to the class, then there is a possibility, at least the purpose of these classes, like you have to uh, uh, go through the classes and come to the class only for discussion. It's not like I have to explain the entire thing. This is a run through
Yes. Yes.
summary of what the uh, uh, entire book is all about.
Yes, ma'am.
So we do at least 2 units per each class. So 6 classes.
Well,
So all these have been discussed in different formats, like news features or what are all this. Over the first 6 units, like it has been explained. So it's just that, yeah, maybe this is more technical. So,
Yeah, ma'am. I have gone through your lectures, ma'am. Actually, your explanation is good, ma'am. Actually, very nice. But you are going a little slow. That I fear that because last time we were in Unit 5 only, right? So rest
yeah,
of the chapters are so many chapters. So I thought
no,
that let
no.
me go
The rest
through.
of it's not about Unit 5. I have been talking about as Unit 5, but in fact, I have covered all the topics, editorials, okay,
Yeah, ma'am, that's
features.
the thing. That's why I asked you to explain me the 11th and all because the rest of the chapters, no, there are somehow similar. The
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. All these things,
concepts are
I can
overlapping there.
yeah, that's what. All the topics have been covered. Feature writing, how sources are there, all these are
Yes.
repetitive.
Yes.
So that's the reason why I went with those chapters slowly.
Actually, I
But
feared because I didn't go through, ma'am. But when I went through, na, the units and all that, I thought that this is something which ma'am taught in the earlier classes only, a little bit easy and all
yeah,
that.
so now in the last part, I wanted to talk about this last 10th and 11th units. I wanted to give it in the last half an hour.
Okay, okay.
So reporting and all, I finished, right? Everything
Yes,
covers
ma'am.
how it goes.
The qualities of
So
reporter and all that.
uh, all that. So
Editor.
just that, huh,
Hmm.
it is not just unit 5 or 6. It's about, it's,
Concepts.
yeah, it's about more about concepts.
Yes, ma'am.
So that is the thing. That is the way it went. So it is, see, if you are really having doubts, I can share my number. Whenever I am free, I can talk to you. But it's not like it's like it is. Uh, I
Actually,
can.
I'm in contact recently with Sunil sir, ma'am. I have gone through the SEM1 units and there sir told in the meet his number. So I went there and I noted and I have asked him like if he is also teaching SEM2 and can provide any PPTs for reference. Like sir told
Sunil,
that
I know. Sorry, I said I don't know. Sunil, I know. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sunil has been sharing
Sunil
PPTs with
Potana,
you.
Sunil Kumar
Yeah,
Potana.
yeah, yeah. I was thinking some other Sunil, but yeah, Sunil, I know. He's there. Yeah,
He's
yeah, yeah.
teaching Telugu medium SEM2. Sir
Yes,
told
yes.
that I have Telugu medium PPTs. So can you understand or not? So I told okay, sir, you send, I'll manage. Sir said once
Okay.
you ask ma'am if she provides, okay, otherwise I'll send you. Sir has
Yeah,
to.
he actually asked me to give you PPTs, but somehow I'm not for it. See, even
Yeah,
Ahmed joined late. Today it's almost at 11:30 he joined. I don't know how long this YouTube will continue, but yeah.
yeah, ma'am.
I know, maybe as you're saying, I think you should talk this with Sunil. He might help you with the overlap of classes.
Yeah, actually, this is the end, no, ma'am. Today is the last day for all the
But in
subjects.
future, like it's just second sem,
Hmm.
no? Third and fourth sems are also there, right?
Yeah, even in SEM 1 also these classes were overlapping for me. But I
So
chose what is important, like priority on priority subjects I have chosen. I mean, like if the syllabus is easy for me, I will, excuse that subject for later. And the main priority subjects I would focus on. So I used to continue like that.
okay, okay, fine. So, but anything you have, any doubts? Okay, I can share my number.
Yeah,
So,
but
but
okay,
don't
if you
do that.
want to share, you can give me, ma'am. I will contact you if I have any doubts regarding concepts and all. Otherwise,
Yeah,
Sunil sir also he will tell, ma'am, no problem.
yeah,
He'll
yeah. You
respond.
can, okay, if you find Sunil sir helping out, then it's good. But otherwise, if you can ask Sunil sir for my number. If otherwise,
Yeah, yeah, okay, ma'am. Yes, I have told your name also, ma'am. Lakshmi Pramoda, ma'am, is assigned for us. He said, ma'am, you ask once, ask ma'am if she gives, okay. Otherwise, I'll share you PPTs and all that.
okay.
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am,
Okay.
for your
Yeah,
time in
yeah,
the
yeah,
call.
yeah. No issues. No issues. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.